With the average high-end phone becoming larger and larger across most popular mobile phone manufacturers, and also after having to daily a 4-inch phone for the past week or so, I thought I'd answer the big question: are 4-inch phones still relevant? Hey guys, my name is Ryan Thomas with Tech, and today we're going to find out. Well, on the high end, it's pretty much impossible to find a phone at 4 inches. The closest thing we have is the 20-month-old iPhone SE, although Sony devices do a spectacularly good compact 4.6-inch phone with flagship specs, but that's kind of cheating. It's not really close to 4 inches. So what's it like to actually use a 4-inch phone in 2018? Wow, it's going to take a long while to get used to saying that word. Firstly, I'll cover usability. The keyboard is almost unusable. For anyone without microscopic hands, it gets really frustrating to type more than a handful of letters at a time. It surprisingly doesn't take up a lot of the screen though, but its width of the display makes it really difficult to hit each key. On the flip side, it's very easy to one-hand this device, with most people able to reach all 4 corners without needing 2 hands or a lot of hand shuffling, and actually using one hand makes using the keyboard a little bit easier as well. Also, as a byproduct of this, it's super pocketable. I know that may sound odd, but a lot of modern smartphones are huge and they might not fit in even a tight trouser pocket due to the sheer surface area of these large displays. Next, covering real estate. If you're familiar with iPhones, you'll know that the SE and the 5S have a row fewer than the larger counterparts, so fewer apps on the home screen at once. However, like I mentioned previously, the keyboard doesn't take up a lot of screen real estate, which is nice, but as a result, the individual keys are really tiny. Of course, having fewer pixels to play with, there are fewer elements on the screen at once. Just look at this YouTube search, for instance. The thumbnails take up over half the horizontal space, and the titles are stacked and packed in there. If you want to try and multitask on this device, no, sorry, goodbye. Next, media consumption. Surprisingly, I didn't find video watching even an issue coming from a 6-inch device, purely because I tend to get lost in a video and naturally blur out everything around the display, so it almost feels like a cinema. However, when gaming, your hands tend to get in the way, especially if you have largish thumbs like mine. They really get in the way of the controls and you can't really see what you're doing on the screen. Finally, here are my overall covering thoughts. I didn't find it that difficult to use when going from a bigger phone to smaller phones for most tasks. Of course, the main downside is you inherently get a smaller battery with a smaller phone, and that bit did annoy me because this phone did not last me a full day at all. The main thing I dislike though is using that keyboard. I like to think I'm a decent mobile phone typist, but I just couldn't get on with that narrow keyboard. Also, I use my phone to edit and look at documents, a lot to do with data, and when you've got such a small display and everything's so crammed in there, it's really difficult to make out data in a spreadsheet and edit it, and the keyboard getting in the way, it overall is not very good for productivity at all. Do I think 4-inch phones are still relevant? Of course I do, just maybe not quite as relevant as they were a couple of years ago. They still have their place in the super compact and budget smartphone market, but it's not just the smaller footprint that you get with a small device. There are a lot of trade-offs. Please do let me know what you think of such small phones, and not just iPhones. I just picked that because it was a really easy phone and it was on hand. But let me know what other phones you know at 4 inches that are good or bad, and whether you'd go back to a smaller phone, even if it had like a QHD display. At that size would be a bit weird, but there we go. Anyway, please do let me know that stuff in the comments. This is the first video of 2018. Hopefully I've made it a brilliant one. Please do like or dislike depending on your thoughts. Please tell me what you think in the comments, and subscribe if you're new around here to never miss a video like this one. Mine has been Ryan Thomas with Tech, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.